So, Technical Thursdays, we're going to talk about the market. This one is important. So, hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, hit that bell button, like and comment. So, market is dumped quite a lot. We're going to talk about it, why things have happened, but probably because of this as well. Now, as we know, Trump kicking and screaming out of the White House. Potential, issues regarding regulation between wallets and keeping an eye on cryptocurrency quite severely in the US, which has caused a bit of a ripple effect and panic. There's also Thanksgiving. Hello, hiya. If you're watching this video and you're enjoying a nice little turkey or whatever, however it works in America, I have no idea. I'm British. Hi. Thanksgiving profit is also a big thing. Notorious things happen over these periods of time, especially in China as well, US, also in the UK, when money off the table, But it all came very, very abrupt with this. This is huge news, and I suggest you have a little Google, have a little read, look at Brian Armstrong's Twitter feed, have a read of it in terms of why it's kind of a big impact on wallets, providers, a lot. It's scary, but we'll have a little look at the bulk of what's happened. So we'll do some analysis on the big cap coins today. Usually what I do on this new series, essentially every Thursday I'll do some analysis of coins, but I usually ask for opinions and what you want me to cover. But because of this dump, I'm not going to do that today. However, for next week I will try to. So if you want to, please leave a comment of some coins you'd like me to look at. The ones that are most popular, the ones that get most likes or whatever, feel free, I will pick those ones and we can go through them. So, we're going to do this cold. What I mean by cold is we're going to do it as in I want to show you why these levels are important. Now, the title of this video would suggest that maybe $3,500 is a great place to be. Okay, I know people are probably upset hearing that and reading the title, not giving this chance, not giving me a chance to explain it, right? So, I'm going to explain a few things first before we go into the analysis. Panic in the market is key. A lot of what you see on the charts, and when you see people with all these little triangles, fancy little algorithmic indicators, clouds and a lot, they're like, oh, I can call the market. Well, realistically, yeah, you can. But market emotion is the biggest thing that we all kind of discover. A lot of technical analysis is nonsense if you don't know how to use it, and also if you're avoiding what is happening in fundamental to speak as well. So, the way I do my analysis, I use weekly Fibonacci psychological level. That's what I've used for quite a while now, actually. And I've found that it's really, really good. Now, what we're looking at here is basically, potentially, I think it is actually now, local top pullback, right? Big, massive impulse from this point here, the start of the move. Where are we going to pull back from this impulse? Now, this is where you need to look at the trend. The trend is still bullish, but we could pull back quite severely on the weekly time frame. We could very easily readdress this EMA and this EMA and this level here. This level is a very, very important level. Why? One, it's got confluence with a previous rejection from July 2019. If you look a little bit left as well, you got a few little wick action in and around it as well, in and around this region. It is also from this point here, the start of the move, to the top, the 618 level. Okay, that is the 618. Vitally important psychological level, $3,500 range, give or take. Let me just move that in there. There we go. So, it's important, but you've also got 12K level as well, which is roughly the 786. The 12K level is also a huge psychological area, 11,500 regions in and around that region. Big, big level. The perfect liquidity grab level, in my opinion, but it depends on the bulls, depends on the nature of this move, depends on what's going to happen next. We've got the 382 to consider, which is pretty much 15,700. So, vitally important that we understand that these are very, very important. So, that's that. That is a pullback zone. If it does pull back and it swings further, this may be the liquidity grab that pivots us beyond all-time high for good. But, well, not for good, but you know what I mean. For we pop it, which would be good. So, that's what we're looking for. So, huge swing, massive, massive swing, potentially. So you've got to look at the psychological level, look at the past, right? in terms of this, just to give you an insight, if you were looking at this level here from this bottom, so if you're looking for like the obvious, so the reason why I do this from the weekly, I look for the obvious. I don't look for stuff like this. I look for the obvious turns where you can see it over a period of time where it actually really has turned, start the move. Whereas this, that's just 1 week. It's not really enough. But if you start doing like, this is the bottom to the top and you go left, well, you can see why this is huge confluence. Look at the way it stopped and turned around here. The body closes, wicks in, and off we go. And look at where it swung up from this point, all the way up, way beyond 16k, very, very close to hitting this final extension point. They are vitally important. Again, same situation here. If you're looking from this low here to this turning point here, what actually did happen here was quite interesting. We actually turned around and we didn't hit the 382, we hit the 22, or the 23.2, whatever it is, on the nose essentially. 22.8, I can't remember what it is. Anyways, hit on the nose, which is why this level's here, and then continued to the next swing, went beyond this extension, which is awesome. So that's why I use them. So this is what we've got. I'm not going to detail the further swings, like the extensions. We'll see what happens. If it starts to turn around, I'll put them on my chart and I'll go, right, we're going here potentially. So keep an eye on this level. 16k is important. I think the most important level is actually here though. The 618, the 13,000 region, give or take, could be key. Right, should we go on to Ethereum? Let's look at Ethereum. Now again, we're going to do this from bold standing. Now this is my old analysis where it's done exactly what I wanted it to do. Essentially what it done was this low to high, it retraced to the 382 and it went to the first extension level. It unfortunately has not reached this second one. However, that being said, we can start again with this and we can think, well, actually, is this the top? If it is the top, we're going to get some very, very interesting situations. So what we're looking at now is from this bottom. So this bottom here, the start of the move to here, where can Ethereum retrace? Well, the obvious level is key. Look at where this level is. This is key level. You've got this wick action here where it's like held as support and dumped, obviously, but you've got resistance here as well. So $428 could be a very nice place to be for Ethereum. That being said though, if it is the case and we dip lower, and I want to talk about this in terms of market panic, let me just put that on there for now. Now the reason why I'm highlighting this area more than anything is because it's got huge confluence with everything else. Huge confluence. So again, if I just put these along here, just make it neater and tidier, I'll make them a bit smaller because they're fucking huge. Massive. Bear with. Boom. Neater on the out. There we go. So those are two very, very interesting levels. Why is this level interesting as well? Look at this rejection here. Held this support for like a bit. These are weekly time frames. We've got a rejection here. And if I look left, there's nothing there because it didn't, it's not been there before. So weekly time frames are obviously key. Now, I'm going to leave that there for now. They're two very, very key levels. But if I just go back in time, you can see why, this level, let me just put this on, potential local top, okay? But when you look onwards, the swing, look at the swing. If this is a retracement and pop, guess where we're going next, boys and girls, if it is the case. Look at the confluence between this region, where this wick is, along that. Look at where this confluence is between these levels here. Resistance there, support, sorry. Get my words right. So yeah, that is Ethereum. Hello. So going into the daily time frame, when you look at this, this is what it looks like. Looks a lot neater on the daily time, as you can see. Look at that turnaround. First level, it wicked into it, zipped out, and I think we are going to go down to here at some point. When you look at where the confluence between these levels are, very, very important. Pretty damn cool. So yeah, it's definitely worth your eyes on technical analysis. Speaking of which, 30% discount on the courses below. Check them out. Only lasting for 4 more days now. And let's finally look at XRP. Now, I was going to do analysis on this because I was kind of like, oh, look at this, it looks awesome. But I was like, oh my God, look, that's absolutely savage. Now, again, it's a similar sort of situation, right? Where we're starting from, well, we're going to start from here now because we know where the top is, essentially. So we're going to start from this wick here, boom. Off we go, Sonny Jimbo. We are literally on and around that 618 level, which is a key level. But I do feel that we are going to go lower because it was quite an aggressive move. And you know something, people might get a broken heart now, but I think 34 cents looks like a nice number. Potentially, I will, oh dear. That's quite big, isn't it? Ooh, bosh. I will leave that there as well. But for me, I think this level is kind of important. Where these wicks have been, where it's stopped and turned and previously had levels before, it might be okay. But when you look at the bigger swing, it might actually pivot away from this and over to $1. So if you're looking to buy XRP because you got quite excited in the FOMO rush, well, look at, you know, where we are, well, where we've been nearly this morning. Key level, 43 cents. But I also think as well, maybe 34 cents. Any lower than that, it's a bonus, it's a Brucey bonus essentially. It could easily go back down to here. You know, these markets are savage. They really do hurt people if you FOMO in. So don't panic. Do not FOMO. Do not get overexposed to the market. And we'll look at one more altcoin before we leave you. Should we look at Chainlink? Now again, all analysis, as you can see here, respectful of previous levels. Now this is kind of more interesting. You can see the uptrend on the daily time frame is looking quite good, and it's obviously retraced. It will probably zip back up and retest some of the areas and may continue going down. But if we're looking at the weekly time frame, let's remove that. Starting again from this point, this is what we've technically got. It's the same situation anyways. I already had this marked up because I was seeing this potentially rejecting anyways, and this is where it's going. So what we've got here is levels of resistance. So this was the upswing. So just to give you an insight, these levels here, resistance. Okay, cool, happy days. But what we've got now is, as you can probably see, this is the next level. Obviously, you know, looking at this region here, this is kind of important. Boom. So we've got, oh, sorry, let me just start that again. There we go. I'll remove the daily version. There we go. Happy days. So this is the weekly version. So in terms of that, this is what we're looking at now. Okay, so areas to kind of keep an eye on is probably this level, which is the obviously key level, the $10. And then we're going to look at this one as well, which is where we are right now. Key. But we can remove some of the noise up here as well. If we're looking for an upward swing, wouldn't shock me in the slightest. And obviously if a one further away, which is kind of obvious, which is $21, that could happen. And obviously if this is the top. So very, very easy to kind of analyze this. But the big worry point of any technical analysis is fear in the market. If fear is there, people will get scared. But like I say, just keep it simple. I won't leave that. I won't put that one on just yet. So in terms of how I got this is again from the low to the high. It's not closed yet, so it might go a bit wrong. But if it does go wrong, it doesn't matter. This is where people are probably going to be looking at putting their buy orders in. When you look on the daily time frame, it'll look a lot more clear. There you go. Very, very clear range here. Very big support level potentially here, but actually it's wicked in. Might be a huge liquidity grab, might get sent from here as well. So all of this, it kind of, you will start to understand it in a much more clear concept as you kind of see it, especially when things react from certain levels. But the one thing with Chainlink as well is it's not retraced the full amount of the move. So just going back to that weekly time frame, if you're looking at this top here, okay, I'll remove that line, confusion. If you look at this level here, this is what the previous one was, and what I was trading was bounced from this point, went up to the 382, went to the 618 and pretty much rejected off it, which is $15, went a bit higher, which is obviously the start of where the end of the move is now. But we haven't retraced enough. I was hoping we were going to get to $17. It didn't happen. But happy it got to here, obviously, but it's rejected. So could be a continuation going down for a little bit, retracement, but it could be forming a downtrend. If it goes below this level and forms a low, it's going to get very interesting, because this is where the next targets would be. If it does form a low and it goes into a bear market, well, this could happen. I know it's really, really far-fetched to look on the weekly, but the low areas, look at these areas here. Ignore this one, but look at this. That could happen. So obviously it could be a rejection, continuation downside. If it loses this level, ooh, it's going to go down to $3, $3.88 potentially. Ooh. Anyways, hope you enjoy. Hope you learned something anyways. Again, as I say, learning is key. Do not panic. Markets are emotional. But that looks quite a neat and tidy chart from this as a potential top area. Huge rejection in my opinion, but it's not over yet. There's still a few days to go for the weekly time frames to close out. If they do close out like this would be a nice little setup to potentially look at buying some dips. If the dips keep on going, just buy at the monthly levels.
What's wrong?